Hi everyone. My name is Jennet, and I am from Turkmenistan. So Turkmenistan is basically in Central Asia. So I was an exchange student in 2016 and 17, and I was placed actually in Texas, Burleson. So that is the first picture is my host family, and like that's my host mom and a host sister. So first thing I was gonna mention is like living with a host family was very different for me experience because I came with a family of living like with the two siblings and a mom, dad, and a grandma, and then I came here, different family, different adjusting, and everything was different. So a little bit about background. As I said, I'm from Central Asia, Turkmenistan. So it is very small country. You can see from the map, it's like we are bordered with also like as people know, basically stan countries. A lot of the borders. So population is only 5 million people. It's very not a lot, but it's quite still we are developing because we were a part of the Soviet Union and we just got an independence in like 1991. So for how I was introduced to Flex program is basically when I was in high school, my school teacher told me about this program and I applied like my sophomore year and junior year of high school and I failed it twice. I couldn't pass it from 2 times, and then third time I got very lucky senior year of my high school and I applied and I was accepted. So that's my family from back home, Turkmenistan. As I said, I had two siblings and my mom and dad. So, and then school life, adjusting to school was really different because back home we wear like school uniform and like we don't have a lot of practice, especially. It's so different. You just sit in the classroom and like there's no practice of doing stuff. And then we don't see a lot of diversity either because of like we are mostly, as I said, Soviet Union countries. And when coming to US, I realized there are so many nationalities, so many different backgrounds, people, and like so many different like families and differences. So like it was so different for me, especially the language took me a long time to like adjust in the beginning, like couple 2 months. It was challenging, but it is possible to get it, learn it. My teachers were like very supportive. I would come at 6 a.m. in the morning to my like teachers, like just to learn from them, like language barriers and stuff, but they were super helpful. They helped me a lot with different stuff. And the another thing was like I came from a high school with like 500 kids and then I was replaced in a Texas like with 3,000 kids. So that was a big difference. Like it was very different, but it was actually really great experience for me. And then living with a host family, as I said, it was really different because I had only sister and a mom. So it was basically girls' family. Like we would do girls' night a lot. And my host sister was super like, she was 9 years old at that time. Now she's 13 already. But she would make me like breakfast, lunches, and like just make me notes. So it was so different for me. And I would tell it to my own sister, who was at that time like 6 years old. And like she would be doing that kind of stuff. So they were like talking to each other. That's how actually my own sister learned English, talking to my host sister. So which was really amazing. And like changing lifestyle was basically different because I grew up in a family like kind of traditional because I lived with my grandma and you had to follow like certain traditions and like that kind of stuff. And then here I came, my host mom would be like all the time telling me, hey, I believe in you, whatever you decide you do it. So like, a lot of independence, freedom, which was really good. It helped me a lot to learn about myself and then experience like daily life. We would wake up at 5 a.m. every morning because my host mom was a teacher and then my host sister, they would go to school. So they would take me with them and I would walk from their school to my school. So we would leave the house around 6 a.m. and I would come back like at 5 p.m. So it used to be a long days. It was different. And then I made the most memories with them because we traveled with them to different states. They took me to introduced their families, like aunts and uncles who are really amazing. Like they actually made me feel like I was part of their family, which was so amazing because you don't know, you come from a different country and you don't even know those people, and then they make you part of their family, which is really just amazing experience. And then again, thanks to Flex program, I was part of the civic education workshop, which was in Washington, D.C. in 2017. That was one of the greatest experiences because we got to like travel to like different museums, different parts, and I made friends like who I still keep in touch with. And some of the friends that I made during the civic actually, then I went to back home. I was a pre-departure orientation teaching assistant, so we had a training in Ukraine, so I got to meet some of them actually there, which was really amazing after like 2 years. And it's like really, we didn't even expect to see each other, but and we still keep in touch with some of them. Some of us came back to US to college, and we still keep in touch, like how are things going on. So yeah, it was lifelong friends, which is really amazing, and like moments that I will never forget of that. And then being part of the American high school was really, as I mentioned before, was just incredibly amazing and challenging. I got to actually graduate from high school there. I was part of the National Honor Society as well. I graduated, and then classes were really challenging, but my host family was always there for me, and my school teachers, school friends always helped me with like everything. It was so like different for me because you don't know, and like back home we usually watch like American movies and like it's bullying and sometimes things like that, and then I came actually to high school and it was totally different experience. It's like people are really sincere to you, they help you, they would be like telling me, hey, come join us during the lunch times, and it was just really great experience. And I also had to present about my country actually during the during the International Education Week in my high school. I gave like 5 presentations in my 5 classes. I was wearing like our traditional clothes, and they were like really interested and surprised, like, wow, actually like different things. So yeah, it was really amazing that week. And then I also had a chance to give like a presentation in my host mom was working in elementary school, so I got a chance to give their presentations. So International Education Week was one of the like very unforgettable weeks for me there, because we also had like different students from different countries, like Poland, Romania, like, so we got to see them and their traditional clothes, which was really amazing. And then Flex Alumna. So as I said, even after completing an exchange year, it does not mean you are not part of Flex anymore. It's actually just the beginning. Everything started for me from Flex, because that's how I actually like started to realize who I am, who I actually, what I want. So being back home, I was like part of Flex alumna community. So every year I was just like meeting the new Flex, like new alumna who were coming back from home. I got a chance to be a teaching assistant during the pre-departure orientation, which was really amazing. And then also like I got to work with like different students and help them like tell actually my own experience. So it was like just the beginning, and we used to do like a lot of activities with like family. And even if we are like small country, we still have a lot of like alumni there back home, and we like try to organize stuff. And I became a city representative as well of like students in my city, so that also helped me to like actually meet like older alumni. So like I've met even like alumni of like what 2001, 2002, and it was like they had so different experience than I did. And then when we talk for, I've been keeping in touch with like new ones as well. And then like when I ask them, it's different already. And I'm like, it's been just a 4 years, but everyone has a different experience, and times change as well. Yeah, but Flex was just the beginning of all of the opportunities for me. And then I got very lucky. I went back home in like 2017, and I was like, I knew I really want to study in US. Like that was, I had it in my mind when I already left. So I applied for the college preparation course, which is also sponsored by American Council. So I studied there and I applied for I took SAT, TOEFL tests, and I applied for colleges here. I got accepted into 6 universities, but Waldorf University actually gave me full tuition scholarship for 4 years. So I decided to come here. And then while last year during Thanksgiving, actually my host family was so excited. So they were like, they bought me a ticket. They are like, you're a college student. We understand how is life there. So they bought me a ticket and they organized everything. And I'm like coming after 2 years, in a 2 year and a half. That was the best feeling ever because I've been keeping in touch with them, even if I was in Turkmenistan. Like my host mom would be like always like helping me with my essays. Like she was like a real mom for me. So coming back to her and hugging her just was like, I just started crying and we were two crying for like 30 minutes probably nonstop because that was the best feeling ever, just to see your family like after 2.5 years, which was just amazing. And I spent there like I went for a Thanksgiving break and then I came back to my college to do my finals and they bought me again ticket to come for like a Christmas break, which was a month. So I got to like spend double time. And then in March, like we went online actually. My school went online. So they told me, you know what? My host mom drove all the way from Texas to Iowa, 15 hours because she was like, you are not staying there all alone because so many students left, and she was like, you're not staying there. So like they actually took me with like my everything. So I spent like another 5 months there. So I did my online schooling and I spent my summer break there, which was really amazing. And then like in July, end of July, I had to come back to school. They drove again all the way from Texas, and they like, I never had an experience like moving to college like as an American kid because I came with like 2 suitcases only because that's all you can carry with. And then last year, like this July, my host family brought me with like a whole big trailer of stuff, and I was like, that's just amazing because they're like, you need this, you need that, and like they organized like the whole thing. They like did like all of the family members got together and each of them bought something. So like all of the international kids here tell me like, you it feels like you're from Texas, and I'm like, actually yeah. So it's been just a really amazing experience. And then, yeah, as I said, I study in Waldorf University. It's a very small town. I was so surprised when I came here. It's like sometimes we laugh like with professors, we like there's more cows than people here sometimes we see, but it's actually so different experience for me. I enjoy it because super quiet, like you can really focus on what you are doing, your classes. Professors are super supportive. Like I like they take us to their home, like they invite us, like we make food together. So I didn't expect like super that kind of friendliness and everything as well. So I'm a second year student actually right now, majoring in business management and finance and minoring in communications. So, and then I do after college jobs as well on campus, which is also has been really great experience. And yeah, things like that. And I also joined women in leadership program in my college. So like a couple weeks ago I got a chance like to attend the Women Lead and Change conference. Actually it was by the Elizabeth Gilbert, I think, Eat Pray Love, the author of that book. So she was actually there. It was amazing. So I'm really like glad. College has been like really great experience for me. So, and again, as I said, if there wouldn't been flex program and like it opened just like the way for me, the beginning for me, and then from there it just went. And my host family is, I'm just super blessed because I don't feel like I'm alone here. I know that there are people for me no matter what here, even if I'm like in totally like other part of the world. So yeah, that's been just amazing. And yeah, and if you have questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Awesome. That was so, it's really interesting to hear what you've been up to. And it's, you're definitely lucky that you had your host family, who's basically like your second family here when your college shut down. Are you going to classes now in person, or are they still virtual?
So we are like till Thanksgiving break, we are actually going to classes,
Mm-hmm.
but after Thanksgiving we again go online. And they were telling me you should come back, and I'm like, no, I
Yeah.
really want to stay here because I'm working as well here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me focus at least a little bit now, because I spent like, as I said, like what, 5 months there, and then 6.5 months in Texas last year.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And now you get to see what it's like to be in two different US states because you're living in Iowa now. Thinking back to when you first came on program, did anyone in Texas know anything about Turkmenistan?
No.
Had
It
they
was
did they have any idea where it was, or did they assume it was like part of Afghanistan or something? You know, because the word stands in it. So
yeah.
people, we know Afghanistan and Pakistan, that's the stands for most Americans. So yeah, do you remember what kind of questions you used to get about Turkmenistan when you told people where you were from?
The funniest question was, is it Turk-Pakistan? Turkestan. And I was like,
Turkish.
actually, Turkestan, Turk-Pakistan. No, none of them.
that's,
Turkestan.
that's
And
funny.
then like they are asking like, okay, so tell us about them. You tell, and then like they go to Google, and first thing pops up is camels.
Oh.
They're very famous, and they tell me like, oh, so you ride a camel to school? Do you have a washing machine there? Do you have cars? And it's like, because I understand, like
Yeah.
before coming to US, I wouldn't know a lot of stuff, to be honest. So it's like super understandable, and I was like explaining to them actually, and then I like during the education week, when I was like giving a presentation, I showed like my country, and they were like, oh my god, you have everything that we do. Yeah.
Well, do you guys have any questions? Lauren, I think you're muted. Yeah.
So can you think back to when you found out that you were going to be placed in Texas, what you thought, and then what you found out once you first arrived about Texas?
It's like the best question ever, because let me tell you, be honest, I didn't even know that US had a 50 states, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I totally, like, when people tell me where's Turkmenistan, I'm like, I get it, because they told me you are going to Texas, and I told my dad, I was like, Dad, so they told me, and he knew at least, I didn't know, and he's like, oh yeah, it's the cowboy state. I'm like, what? Cowboy now? So it was like, I had no idea, to be honest. Then I started like researching and everything, and then like when I came, it was just so different, because like my host family, like they met me at the airport, and my host mom's like friends are like, they ride a motorcycle. So like when I came, they were like a lot of the friends with the motorcycle and everything, and I imagined this movie in my head, like US like movies, and I'm like, this is different though, like so different than the movie. And yeah, they were laughing at me, like, and then they took me to a restaurant like the first day when I just arrived, and they're asking me, what would you like to eat? And I was like, I have no idea what you're asking me. All I can say is yes or no. So it was like just different when and like good thing was I didn't know a lot of things about it, so it actually was even better for me to learn everything from the scratch. Basically, it was like very new for me. That was really good.
Awesome. Do you miss any food from Texas?
Oh, Mexican food, like they take me here and I'm like, that's not the same. They're like, what do you know about it? And I'm like, oh yeah, I was there for a year, so
Yeah.
I can seriously tell the difference. Like when I came there, like for the online studying, when I went, I was like, first thing, I want tacos, because Iowa tacos are not good at all. And they were like laughing at me, like, okay, I miss like Mexican food so much.
Yeah, they have the good stuff in Texas. Oh, that's one. If I ever go to Texas, I've only been a couple times, but I always go get some good Mexican food when I'm there. So,
and it's a big portion too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
Go for it.
So, for example, when you came to Texas, you spent your 10 to 11 months there. Were you able to like get feedback or hear from other adults or maybe even people in school about why they were so interested or what you gave them?
So basically, like you are asking if they were like interested, right?
Yeah, and kind of like specifically, like were there specific things that maybe they mentioned that they wouldn't decide your country only? And I know that that's a big part of it, but like, are there things that they said to you like, wow, we're so happy you're here because we wouldn't have thought about this? Or,
Oh yes, especially like as I said, I was a lot of time spending in like elementary school where my husband was working. So their teachers would be like all the time telling, we would not even know if there wouldn't be like, and especially we were like a lot of kids there because like another Nicole Hammonds, maybe you know.
Yep, Nicole.
Yes, so her exchange daughter as well. Like we were friends together, so we would all come to school together all the time, and they would be like, it's so interesting because they're like, when like we tell about our culture, it's so different.
When your car needs repair, you
So
take
that's
it to
why
your
like
favorite
I
mechanic
always
or
get
even your
impressed
dealer,
by that.
and CarShield gets them paid directly. That's why CarShield is America's #1 auto protection provider.
Do you guys have any other questions? It's interesting because I mean, people still remember you even after you leave. So it's not like you come and then you leave, and like the impact of the students really stays year after year. And that's why we have so many students. I mean, every year we have students that go to that high school, and that's because they love exchange students. And so, every student is different, but the program has really developed there. And the principals, the teachers, the families, they all see someone host, and then they'll recommend to a friend, and it really has a kind of chain effect. So
It really does.
yeah.
Actually, I study with like 2 YES program alumni here in my college. So like they were placed actually in Iowa. So they knew already like, oh, we're gonna come to this college. So the other day I was just talking about like, oh, the next week is like FLEX something, and they were like, wait a second, you were exchange student. I was like, yeah, how do you know about it? And they are like, we are actually too. Like randomly
small world. That's funny.
Yes, like we studied together, and I was like, didn't even know that, but it's really crazy.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you again for I know how busy you are. You literally ran from class to come do our presentation. So I really appreciate you taking the time to not only make the PowerPoint, but also talk to us, because it's good to catch up with you, because, I remember when you were on program very well. So it's good to hear what you've been up to and kind of the impact that Flex had on you years later. That really is, I like what you said, how things began for you when you did Flex. Like it really is a beginning, and it's not just 1 year and then you kind of move on. So yeah, if anyone else has any questions, I'll give it another minute. Otherwise, I think we can wrap it up so you can get back to your classwork, or I don't know if you have to go off to work next, or.
I told them, I was like, I'm taking a break today, please, for like at least an hour. Honestly, I miss it so much, like interacting with Flex and everything. So I still try to keep in touch like with the new alumna who just went to return to Turkmenistan, and they're telling me like culture shock, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've been there. It's okay. You're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yep. And this year we don't have any students in the US, but we have virtual exchanges that we're doing. So awesome.
At least something, which is really still good.
Yeah, definitely give us we're going to try a lot of interesting new ideas, I think. So awesome. Well, Jennet, it was really, really nice to see you. And thank you again
for
talking to us.